Well, welcome back to part 5 of our series on what is church membership. So far, we've looked at what the church is, the community of believers that bonds together to accomplish Christ's work in this world. And then we talked about pooling our resources, how each of us bring our time, our talents, our finances, our interests, our spiritual gifts, our personalities, everything that makes us unique. We bring those things together with the other believers to accomplish more together than any of us could individually. And then last time we talked about committing to one another as a church family, how we care for one another individually, we encourage one another, we support one another, and we even resolve conflict with one another because we know that any group of people that loves each other and works closely together is going to develop conflict. And so we seek to resolve that conflict whenever possible and maintain unity. Tonight we're going to talk about the importance of agreement with the church's beliefs and its vision and practices. So let's start with the church's beliefs. Do you know what your church believes? Is your church part of a denomination? Do you know what that denomination believes? Or is it a part of some other kind of network of churches? Do you know what that network of churches believes and what it stands for? What does it consider essential versus what it considers secondary? What does your pastor believe? What do others in church leadership believe? What do you believe? In 2 Timothy 2:15 and 16, Paul tells us to do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a workman who does not need to be ashamed, who accurately handles the word of truth. You see, each of us is to know the Bible well enough to understand what it's actually saying. And then we choose a church based on that, a church that we believe understands and teaches the Bible correctly. Paul also says in Romans 16:17 and 18, he says, I urge you, brothers, to watch out for those who cause divisions and put obstacles in your way that are contrary to the teaching you have learned. Keep away from them. See, Paul expects us to know what we believe enough to be able to identify if someone is teaching us incorrectly. So you need to know what you believe, and then you need to know what the church believes, and you need to know those things before you join it. You see, churches have all sorts of different beliefs on different things. What does it mean to be a Christian? How are we saved? Who is Jesus? Churches actually will disagree on some things about who Jesus is. What does baptism mean, and how do you do it? What is communion or the Lord's Supper? What does it represent, and how do you do it? Churches will disagree on divorce. They'll disagree on the family, sexuality, and marriage. Churches will disagree on creation, end times, the roles of the Holy Spirit, supernatural gifts like healing and speaking in tongues. Churches will even disagree on how we're to understand the Bible itself and what it is. So you don't want to get invested in a church and then a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line realize that your church believes something that you strongly disagree with, and you would have never joined that church had you known they believe that. You don't want that to happen. You want to find out before you join. And not only is it important what the church believes, but what does the church see as its vision, and how does it carry out that vision? What do they do about things like evangelism, discipleship, missions, helping the poor, involvement in the community? Think about those things, and don't just look at what the church is doing now, but what does that church want to do? What is its vision for the future as it grows and as it expands? And my encouragement to you is, as you think about these issues, that you consider what are the most important to you about what you believe and what a church does, and make a list of questions. And then contact your pastor or someone else in leadership who can answer those questions and have a conversation about those things. And do it before you decide to join the church. Let me just end with one more tip. No church is perfect. You'll probably find things about any church that you wish were different. You may find minor things about a church that it believes that you don't completely agree with, where you see things just a little bit different. That's fine. You don't have to agree on everything. However, there shouldn't be major disagreements. You should be able, with a clean conscience, feel very good about strongly supporting your church. Thank you.